their status by selling it illegally. But you know what I'm saying? Look at the consequence of what you're trying to do by repeal in Montana, the medical marijuana and all marijuana laws. It's just ridiculous. Here's what you should do. I'm telling the Montana legislature right now. So there's a bunch of people that came in, they rounded up people and they just signed them up right and left. The doctor's appointments are a joke. They're in any state they are. In California where I lived, I grew up here but I lived in California. The doctor's appointments are a joke. So here's what you got to do. You got to review each patient on a patient-by-patient basis. And if they don't meet the qualifications, you give them a deadline, or you give them a deadline to get to their own, like Farmer Jay told me, this was his recommendation, to their personal physician, not these bozos coming through town, just like when we had all the hail damage and all these out-of-towners driving into town, repairing. There was a lot of damage. Windows broken. My kitchen window was broken in the house and stuff. But, so review on a patient-by-patient basis and then revoke if they don't meet the qualifications of whatever the medical thing is. I mean, in San Francisco, it's even depression, so don't rule that out. That's a medical disorder, depression. So if you need your dog to go with you everywhere, which that's what a service dog does. I have a service dog, so I might have got off topic. But anyway, no, I did get off topic. But so think about it, Montana. Do you want to get your kids buying from criminals or by buying from the excess of the medical marijuana patients? I'm not saying they sell it either. I'm just saying. I don't know how kids get it, but everybody's worried about kids. But I'm saying, and I turned out okay. I built up on my own. I'm a executive assistant for a CEO of any Fortune 500 company. I'm not working. I'm retired. But that's what I became on my own from growing up in Bozeman and learning how to deal with police and all that, cops and cruising. And I had a '63 Ford Falcon that had the vents, and you could store 4 beers, the passenger, 2 on the driver's side with a bag of weed. Back then there were ounces. Over 1.2 ounces, it was a felony. 1.2, that's a big, that's an ounce, baby. Now it's 8s. It's like, what is that? That's just highway robbery is what that is. So my point is, get over it and don't act ridiculous, because it's always been around. Maybe you haven't noticed it. So who's the dummy? You. I'm not, because plus I haven't smoked all the time my whole life. Sometimes I smoked it. I went through a paranoid stage. I quit. Every time I was a temp for a long time, I enjoyed that. But if I thought I was going for a job, I would stop for a couple months or more, so I'd pass the drug test. So, people do not get addicted to it like these other bad drugs. Marijuana is a good drug, and you can self-medicate, and it can be controlled if it's only accepted. You can control your kids if they smoke marijuana if you accept it, okay? But if you're going to keep it a criminal element, you're going to keep people as criminals, and you're going to waste a lot of resources arresting these people. This guy that shared a bowl, a medical marijuana patient, with his friends in a car. He's facing life in prison. That is ridiculous. For a backyard weed. That is what it is. That's why they always call it, I always knew it as weed. Weed, weed, weed. That's what it is, a weed. You don't let people want to go out. You let people smoke dandelions? Yeah, because they'll die. It's poisonous, but I'm just making the point. They come out with a non-poisonous dandelions. You're going to let your kids smoke dandelions all the time? Well, no, that's not the point. The point is, it's just ridiculous to outlaw a weed. And the people trying to outlaw it have nothing better to do. Although they still got a lot of crime around and criminals. Get your ass out there and round them up and stop with the peaceful weed smokers. And there's not a lot of accidents. Get rid of alcohol and replace it with weed, like that should have been in the first place. Back in the Prohibition, I always wish somebody would do a movie. Replace Prohibition with alcohol with weed and see how society would be different nowadays, because it would. It would be totally different. Because you'd be thinking like a criminal element. Instead of drinking a lot, they smoke a bunch of weed, and then they're thinking, I'm going to murder that guy, and then smoke some weed, and they go, get the munchies, watch some TV. Who was I going to shoot, or who was I going to kill? They forget about it, you know what I'm saying? Like The Sopranos. Forget about it. So you can forget about this video if you want, because I think it probably really sucks, but I had to do it, because this is a Tall Tad talk show. I'm 6'4". I'm really the baby of the tall people. Anyway, that's another story, and I wish you well. Oh, here's my scripture I was going to think of. Okay, let me think. It's not a specific scripture, but this is what it is about God. God cannot lie. And he never changes. So, like I did in one blog, you cannot wake up in the twilight zone and go, oh no, God changed his mind. What am I going to do? I was believing him for this, but now he said, oh, forget about it. No, it doesn't work that way. He doesn't change ever. His word is always right. It's not that bad. I still sin. I drink. I smoke an occasional cigarette when I'm with friends, but I'm not a cigarette smoker. And I use medical marijuana. And, prescription, Xanax, and ibuprofen. So there you go. That's my whole current drug, what you call it? Current drug, oh shoot. Well, I don't know what you call it, but it's such a wonderful day. The sun is out, barely. Everything has dried up, like the mushy streets. It snows. This is an unusual winter in Montana. And then back east, we got mild winter, and they got it hit all the time. It was so funny. Because we'd have a week of, it seemed like it was spring, and I thought a couple times, winter is over. But then it would come back, and it would snow. Like, the last snow we had was, 15 inches. Can you believe it? 15 inches. But now, as you can see, the doggies. So it was spring, then it was winter, then it was spring, so it give you a break. So it's really nice, And then last year, when I first got back here from L.A., Hollywood, it rained, and I lived in Portland, Oregon for 6 years, and I loved every raindrop. So anyway, that's the scripture I was referring to, which is God. Jesus was the walking scripture, so bless you, and good day. Smoke a bowl if you're legal, otherwise hide it. No, I'm not recommending that, but I was able to in Hollywood. It's very easy. You take one token, bam, like in your coat or something, toke, and then people go, where'd that come from? And do they care? No. Not in an urban city, but in the little towns, those are the problems because of the severe laws. A life sentence for sharing a bowl with a couple of friends? That is absolutely... The people that don't revoke that law, that are still in power, should have their head examined. They should be thrown out of office. Because that is unreasonable and absolutely evil and unfair. Good day.